Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. I'm reading an article about this TikTok video about how daily pay was a scam because of all these charges and all these taxes, and how supposedly your tax rate is higher if you get paid by the day. I got some news for you guys. Taxes are calculated by the year. I mean, if your withholdings are higher, that's possible, I suppose, but you get that back next April, and I'm sure you could probably adjust that, right? I can't tell you how many people are confused by taxes. I was shopping for tax software at a Walmart one time. This was just after Donald Trump had adjusted the taxes, and I was talking to one of the cashiers there. He said, this taxes are terrible this year. And I asked him, well, what happened? And I figured he was single and didn't have children, and he just says that he used to get a refund. Now he has to write a check. And I asked him, well, how was your total tax bill at least? He doesn't know. He just knows that on April 15th he had to write a check. That's how stupid it is. That's why our government can get away with all this spending. People don't even know what they're spending. I can't tell you how many times people spend money without knowing how much it is. Whatever the situation is. A lot of people nowadays have those apps that are so easy to spend money that they don't even know what they're spending, and then they just get into debt, right? See, I wish, we're talking about how cars need to be efficient and get 40 miles, 50 miles per gallon. Guess what? We aren't going to get that even when we get it, because people drive inefficiently to begin with, right? So I think a better idea is to let people be more educated about. I always turn my car to the mode that shows you your gas mileage as you go. It's really an eye-opener, right? You start to question, was it worth passing that car and getting 5 miles to the gallon for that stretch, right? And it makes you not want to do stuff like that. That really should be mandatory, to have that on all the time, right? We already have backup cameras. You can think of showing your gas mileage as the environmental equivalent of a backup camera, right? So you don't run over the environment, right? That's what I would think of it as. But anyways, getting back to this daily pay being a scam, apparently this guy was saying he used daily pay, and as a result, at the end of the week, he only got $5 because of all the taxes that were taken out. It was double the tax rate and all that. I gotta point out something. I really despise the concept of daily pay. What is daily pay? Basically, the employer has taken away something that should have been yours. Right? You work today, why do you have to get paid 2 weeks later? They're taking it away, and they're doing you a favor by giving you it back and then charging you a fee, making your taxes more complicated. I love listening to the Dave Ramsey show. He often talks about payday loans and why they're so bad, and it always makes me wonder, would people need those payday loans if they got paid when they worked? First of all, the whole payday loan model would disappear because you wouldn't have a paycheck to borrow against. And second, say you're starting your first job from zero, right? Maybe you just came off homeless on the street, right? You have nothing to your name, right? Well, it costs money to get to work, right? You got to, take a bus there, and you certainly need new clothes if you've been homeless any appreciable period of time, right? But now that person has to front that money from nowhere, right? Or take a payday loan or whatever, get themselves deeper into the hole when they're already adding value on day one, right? It's not like your work only materializes 2 weeks into your work, right? It never made sense to me, right? And then they flip it around and say they're doing you a favor by giving you same-day pay, right? When in reality, that's the natural order of things. They've taken it away and given it back to you as a favor, almost like the taxes, right? Take it away from you, give you a refund in April, and it's like a stimulus, right? A shopping spree in April, right? My mom used to work in a department store, and she loved April because everybody would come in and buy those big screen TVs, and But I actually had to deal with this one time. Last summer, actually, I had taken a second job, and I almost didn't want to take it because First of all, it was in Washington State. Over there, they're only required to cut a check once a month for some bizarre reason. At least here in Arizona, you have to be paid twice a month. And also, it took like several weeks for the check to turn around. And my boss, he's very old-fashioned, gives a paper check, and then you have to mobile deposit it, hope it goes right, the computer doesn't misread it. It doesn't help that he's from a different culture, and sometimes his handwriting isn't very legible to the computer. It doesn't help with that too. And the cynical part of me wants to say that he does that on purpose to delay you cashing it, so he has more time to come up with the money. But whatever the situation is, the reason I hesitated on taking that job was because I only wanted to take that job to take advantage of the dip in the market at the time. And if I wasn't going to get paid for 6 weeks after I worked, it wasn't certain if that job was worth it, right? It was only a second income, right? And I so badly wanted to bring this up to my boss, but I didn't want to sound desperate for money or anything like that. So I kind of waited, as I'm thinking between this. It was at a tutoring center. I'm thinking between this and that one pays a little bit less, but they pay. I'll be getting the money direct deposited within 2 weeks. And he relented and said, okay, he'll pay every 2 weeks. And I said, yeah, by the way, last time you paid, that check kept bouncing back because your handwriting was a little bit off. And can we make sure not to have that? I had to go back and forth a number of times, and then I was late paying on a few bills and all that. And so it turned out okay. It helps that he was Korean, so we had a little bit of rapport there too, both Asians, right? But it goes to show that same-day pay should be the norm, and it shouldn't be some kind of benefit, right? We've kind of really reversed the roles of that, right?